still holds up. I mean, that thing is almost 20 years old. It came out in 2006, and it's still a great little first-person shooter game.
That was the DRM for it, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'll get it for Xbox.
It's like when people give me a hard time for saying Retro Game Corps, and they're like, it's not Corpse, it's Core. And I was like, well, it's not my fault he spelled it wrong.
Who's doing a bad job out there? Let me fix this for them.
No.
Oh, man.
I wasn't trying to get exposed today, but yeah, no, I've never...
Welcome back to the NerdNest podcast. It's me, your host, Bill Fairchild, and I've been joined by, the usual crew and then some. Carrie, what's going on today, man?
Oh, man, today is a busy one. This entire week is super busy for me. So I've been behind a bit, but that's it. Just a lot of action going on for me in the background.
Awesome. Russ, what's new?
Nothing much. This is one of my favorite times of the week to come on with you guys. We record on Fridays, for those that don't know. And even though as a YouTuber, I don't really have a weekend, it is always nice to cap off my week with this. So yeah, super cool. Happy to be here.
Very cool. Awesome. Rich, anything new today?
Just like these guys, I am happy to be here and happy to have someone else on the panel too.
Yes, and for the audio listeners who don't know who that someone else is, it is none other than Tech Dweeb. How's it going, Tech Dweeb?
Oh, hey. Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess, I'm on the NerdNest podcast, so that's pretty neat. I'm sorry about the mess. I a little bit embarrassing. I was just playing Dungeons and Dragons 30 minutes ago, and I was going to clean up my desk and shower so I look good for the podcast, but I got distracted in the shower because we have this new shampoo, and the lid was stuck. The flippy top kind of lids. So I unscrewed the lid instead of dealing with the flip, but I guess I was holding it weird because it squirted out half the bottle of shampoo all over the place.
I've been there.
I didn't want to waste it, so I spent 15 minutes trying to funnel the shampoo back in the bottle, and I did, but I ran out of time to clean up. So, but I did get my shower done, so I'm looking all spiffy for your show.
Yeah, roll a D20 for cleanliness.
Yeah, you can't smell me, but I promise I smell freaking awesome right now.
I think I believe it.
Got an 11.
An 11.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that means, but I think that sounds great. All right.
Well, my charisma modifier is +4, so that's actually 15. So depending on 15. The difficulty class, I won't. Yeah, you go ahead.
Rich, what do you think the difficulty class should be for how good Tech Dweeb smells today?
The difficulty class?
Yeah.
I mean, I for him it's easy. I don't know. Yeah,
easy. That would be a 9.
Okay, +9? I don't know anything about D&D, guys. I'm sorry.
You never played D&D?
No.
Oh, man.
I wasn't trying to get exposed today, but yeah, no, I've never I've never played.
Okay. You know what?
I was like, what is a difficulty class?
We should play sometime. It's fun.
If only you knew somebody to host a D&D game for your show. If only.
Oh, maybe sometime in the future. That sounds like a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, we have tons of topics to talk about today, but honestly, I don't know that I want to talk about any of them because most of them are negative. And so on a whim, I posted a truth or no, not truth or dare. What is it? True or false. I posted a true or false post over on my YouTube channel. And I said, throw in some true or false statements, and then we, the panel, can talk about whether or not we agree with what you are saying. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But before we do, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. First off, this new feature that got added to Steam, where basically it's called your Steam personal calendar. Rich, you want to introduce this while I try and put it on screen real quick?
Yes. So I'm a little bit out of the loop, but my understanding is that, yes, Steam just released, this was today or yesterday?
I think it was 2 days ago.
Yeah. 2 days ago. Your personal calendar. And it'll be what it released in the last month, what released in the last 7 days, and all of this is, and what's upcoming, and all of this is based on your preferences. So what's upcoming has the next week, the next month, right? So all the way through, for me, all the way down to December 12th. So I think almost 2 months there. And so if you've ever used like steamdb.info/calendar, the format is very similar to that, but in this case, it's all based on your preferences. And I can tell you right now, it nailed it for me, right? So like Ninja Gaiden 4, Dispatch, Darkenstein 3D, these were all for this week. So some of them did already pass, but those are games that I've had on my radar for a long time, and some of them aren't even on my wish list. Then for next week, there's like Silly Poly Beast, Outer Worlds 2, Arc Raiders. So I'm all about this calendar, and the problem is it's gonna make me spend too much money.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, on my calendar, I have Absalom, which I've heard a lot of people talking about. It's actually been on my wish list for a while, so it's definitely one that I'm going to pick up. I think I'm waiting for a sale only because I have plenty of games to play right now. But that one's on there. Ball X Pit is on there. I've been playing it through Game Pass because we got Game Pass with our ROG or Xbox Ally things. So rather than buy the game, I decided to play it on Game Pass. Then if I go into like released in the last 7 days, I have Slots and Daggers, which I keep seeing threads about Slots and Daggers over on Blue Sky when I'm doom scrolling, and that game just looks so freaking cool. I can't wait to try that out, and I think that there is a demo for it. So I think I've already added the demo to my just added the demo to my library. And that game came out today. And then we've got Dispatch, which I've heard really, really good things about. Russ, what's on your personal calendar?
Yeah, it's funny how ours are a little bit different. Like Absalom is on the top for me, and then Hades 2, Final Fantasy Tactics, a lot of old school games like Sonic Racing, and there's like a Lego Party game and a Pac-Man World game. So it's like they know that I buy a lot of retro games, and so they got a lot of that in there. And then Ball X Pit too. Yeah, it is pretty well curated, but they are also throwing in like racing games and stuff like Tokyo Extreme Racer. So yeah, it does it's almost like a new discovery, but in a like timeline. And so I do like this kind of setup. It's kind of neat. I do want to buy Absalom too, but it's like $25. Like it's a little steep for a beat 'em up, like I feel like I want to wait for a sale as well.
I'm just perusing my calendar, and I want to shout out a game. I haven't tried it. I don't know if it sucks, but it looks great. It's called Microvania, and the like banner art looks like old school NES Metroid banner art. And yeah, it just looks like Metroid, but smaller, bigger, chunkier tiles, smaller resolution.
Yeah, this looks good. Yeah.
Right. There's a demo. It's on sale right now, $5.99. I'm literally adding it to my cart.
I was literally making
Steam.
this game.
Yeah.
But right before you came on.
No, it's been there's like a few game ideas, but this is like so my idea was more kind of actually smaller. Is like called Mazevania. So it basically you'd have a procedurally generated one-shot maze that you could try to navigate, and basically have that whole one screen being the mini map of the game. But this looks awesome.
You said it's smaller, and this is called Microvania. I thought you were about to say it's Nanovania or something.
So the idea was that you would be able to play from the mini map perspective.
Oh, so you're like just a dot.
Yeah, you're really uber. Like, I mean, you could zoom into that panel, but you would be just like a few pixels high inside of that little thing. You can like move around in there. I didn't get very far, so it doesn't really matter. It's just I just see this and like, oh man, he's using kind of my idea.
Oh, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah,
yeah, you should have been a little faster. Dweeb, what's on your Steam calendar?
Oh, there's so much. As soon as I pulled that up, I was like, it's so much more useful than the usual way of discovering new Steam games, that tiny little list at the bottom of the homepage. And then you open up the big list and it's got a bunch of crap you don't even care about. This is like a curated thing. And I know they're doing it to sell more games, but it really did feel like a tool that I would actually use, that they made to make finding the games you actually want better. Oh, they're like immediately as soon as I went through that, there was a whole bunch of games I didn't know were coming out or I didn't even know about. The new Bubble Bobbles on my list. Sacred 2 remaster. That's kind of cool. There's this one game I've had my eye on called RV There Yet? RV There Yet? And it's like one of those frustration simulator kind of games. Look it up. It's crazy. It's like an RV, and it's a completely co-op online, and it's like you and a couple friends, and it's very analog, like you jump behind the wheel of the RV and you got to drive it, and it's got awkward physics, and it's got like a winch, and you and your friends are all jumping out of the RV to get it over a bridge or whatever. Then you jump in and you execute your plan, and it goes terribly, and that's part of the fun.
I love this.
It actually looks great. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it on screen.
Maybe you guys could play it on the show. That would be fun to watch.
I don't know about that.
I like these kind of games. I play them with my family whenever we have like visitors over or whatever. I got lots of cousins. Oh, so many cousins. You wouldn't believe it. So we're always firing up co-op games, and every now and then I'll bust out the Steam Decks. I have 2 Steam Decks and I have 2 PCs running Bazite, so we'll play Steam games together that way.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I love the part where like I'm watching the trailer right now, and that like the fact that they're using the winch to pull the RV like out of a ditch or something. This is really, really cool, but I despise games that control like this. Like what's a human fall flat
physics kind of stuff.
Yeah, frustration simulator kind of thing where it's purposefully like too real, like the physics are real, but the tools or the engines that they put in the game are really bad. So you're just like struggling against this like terrible machine the whole time. I actually love those kind of things.
I do too. Yep.
Yeah.
I do imagine when Dweeb started talking about us playing this game, like on a stream, like imagine Bill, the stress level, the added stress level that you would have, and then calling for either Rich or Russ, and what that would
perfect.
I'd get it wrong. I'd be like, Carrie.
Every time.
Just lean on me. Carrie, go do that thing. I trust Rich and Russ.
I would always put that, hey, Rich and Russ, you guys go do this thing together so that I don't have to keep track. I'll always keep you guys paired up.
There you go.
Carrie, what's on your list? Oh, go ahead, Dweeb.
Good.
I was telling you before the show that like your show is one of my favorite shows on the YouTubes, and as a fan of your show, I don't think there's anything in the world I want more than to see you 4 guys play in this game.
I think we got to do it.
Maybe someday. We'll see.
Yeah.
Carrie, what's on your list, man?
It seems like a generalized thing, more or less. I have that Tokyo Extreme Racer on mine. I do have Ball X Pit, Silent Hill F, Battlefield 6, Hades 2, Final Fantasy Tactics, Keeper, and then I have something called, I don't know how to pronounce this, Nessie? Necesse. Open World Survival Craft.
The thing is, you have 300,000 games in your librry, so they don't know what to serve you. You know what I mean? Like
I get it.
Every release.
Right.
Just send them that. You know what?
That's fair. That's fair.
The one thing that I will say about this calendar idea is that this is actually something that I've Microsoft tried doing this in the 360 days, but it never really worked out. I always wanted a calendar where I could be like, these are the times that I could play multiplayer games, and these are the games that I want to play. So you could just search for this time when someone's trying to schedule a game, and then you could just like make plans to play a multiplayer game with like the crowd. And I always felt like that would have been a better way to like get going, because like just doing the whole, the pickup game is like not great. So I don't know. I've just always wished that there was something there. And then 360 came out with something called Beacons, which was never all that great. And I don't think I've ever found anything that was integrated into a system like Steam or whatever, where you could just be like, here's my times. This is the game. These are the multiplayer games that I'm actually interested in playing. I still think that should be done, but I don't even know if that exists.
Yeah, I don't know either. I do think that I mean, if you could just make a shared calendar with a friend, with your friends, and you could be like, hey, everybody, let's schedule something.
I think a platform holder should just be doing it. It should just be like an integrated thing, like for PSN or Xbox Live.
Oh,
or,
I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
thought you meant like a separate app.
No, I like it. I want it to be because especially for anyone who like for PlayStation people that just prefer playing on PlayStation. There's like, here's my calendar. These are the games that I own and want to play, and here's my availability. And then other people could just be like, oh, these people are here, and you would just kind of like put your chip in that you want to, you know what I mean? So just be a little bit more coordinated, and you can get going a lot faster. I don't know. I just felt like that was always like an easy win, but that's a whole other calendar. That's not this calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember when I was when I played EverQuest, or not EverQuest, World of Warcraft. When it first came out, the raids had 40 people in it, so you had to coordinate times with 39 other people if you wanted to do one of those raids, and that was the hardest boss. Was just getting people together. It was such a pain.
Yeah.
You were going to say something, Rich?
I was gonna joke. I can't hear you guys. I just added $90 to my card. Apparently, literally, my card is up to $90 right now.
Whoopsie doodle.
Dang.
What were you going to say just then, Dweeb?
Oh, just the calendar thing and getting adults in the same place at the same time. That is the thing that kills Dungeons and Dragons games more than any big bad evil guy or dragon or anything like that. Just Dungeons and Dragons games aren't that big. It's usually like 5 or 6 people, but it's a 4-hour commitment. So I mean, I guess it makes sense. But people have lives, and I don't understand that.
The real quick on Dungeons and Dragons, I did play a game like during the COVID era. Was trying to get a game. We played one game and then never again. Trying to schedule was too hard. But the character I made was called Robin Hood, and he was a dark elf. He was a kleptomaniac, but he always wanted to give back to the poor. So all I was doing was like pickpocketing enemies, and then I would pickpocket my friends to put whatever I had into their pockets. And I would roll pretty well for all my pickpocketing, even for bad and for good.
Well, there comes a point where the poor are no longer poor, and then do you have to steal from them?
Yeah.
Moral dilemma.
Yeah. This is what Robin Hood would always have the quandary of what to do.
Yeah, always in the one time he played.
Yeah, right.
Always have to deal with.
He still exists out there.
Yeah.
You think about him from time to time.
I do.
A character arc that we will never see fulfilled.
I was really proud of myself because I was like, what a Robin Hood. Robin Hood, and how does he get back to the poor? He's a kleptomaniac. That's what he's a kleptomaniac that can't help himself, and whenever he steals, he feels guilty and he has to give back to the poor. So he'll pickpocket people forcefully to give them. So I don't know. It was just a really dumb thing, and it would be the most inappropriate thing. Like we'd be in a battle, and I'd be like, "I pickpocket the goblin." Something we should not be doing. Anyway, total digression.
Yeah, well, you know what? A digression on yours. I played a game called Star Wars. It's basically D&D, but Star Wars, right? And my character was a droid who had faulty wiring or something, and it made him have to steal stuff. He was a kleptomaniac. And so at any time, the DM would say, all right, Bill, you got to roll to see if you can resist stealing something from where we are right now. And I would roll, and if I failed my roll, then I had to then try and steal something, and that caused so much hilarity as, okay, I knocked this over as I was stealing this because my roll was too low, and now we're on the run, and we got stormtroopers chasing us. It was awesome.
That sounds amazing.
This is a common thing in Dungeons and Dragons. One of the mechanics is called charmed, where like the bad guy will charm you, and so the dungeon master will say, "Oh, you are charmed by the dryad or whatever," and she's telling you to push your friend off the cliff. And you have to do it because you're charmed, because it's part of the mechanics. And so you have to role play like your character wanting to do this thing that you, the player, obviously don't want to do. And it's like one of those situations where as a dungeon master, you're like, dance, puppets, dance. And you put them in these situations that they just can't escape.
Yeah, it's really fun. Well, speaking of really fun, we've all been playing a game that I think that everybody has been talking about on the internet, Ball X Pit. And I thought that we could talk about that game for a little bit. Oh, everybody has it in the list. I don't know if Rich, have you been playing Ball X Pit as well?
No, I have. I do think it's just called Ball Pit.
It is, yeah, because the guys, that was a thing. They were like, "Do you pronounce the X?" And the people who make it were
It's
like,
silent.
"No."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, all right."
Then don't put it in there.
X has to
they
be the
shouldn't have
most.
spelled it wrong then.
Right, they definitely spelled it wrong. Yeah, but yeah, it's the most confusing X.
It's like when people give me a hard time for saying Retro Game Corps, and they're like, it's not corpse, it's core. And I was like, well, it's not my fault he spelled it wrong.
Yeah, Russ. Why'd you spell it wrong?
Yeah.
It's definitely me. I created that word. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we forgive you.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know what? Nobody here blames you, Tech Dweeb.
Good.
So
Good.
Bill, I want you
can't
guys
handle
to
that.
sell me on Ball Pit because I tried it, the demo, and this was before it was released. So like I think in the previous Next Fest I tried it and I was like, okay. I mean, I get it. I wasn't into it.
Let me try.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I could,
Okay.
Let me try. So I don't know why it took me like 3 runs to finally get it, but it is it's a shmup. That's the thing, is like you don't really think about it, but it's a shmup where you actually get to aim, and then it's a Vampire Survivors kind of roguelike in that regard. And so you basically create your loadout as you go through. And that's the big thing for me, is you're basically fighting time at that point of whether or not the enemies are going to get to you. And so that's the big draw for me now, is I've kind of leaned into the whole shmup thing and then like kind of creating my own character. And so that's what I really loved. It's got some things I don't like about it, like farming. Like it turns into RTS, when you're not playing, which I don't like.
Yeah.
But everything else, yeah, I think it feels like a shmup on steroids.
And there's something that Russ is also missing here. I thought he was going to point this out, and it took me 3 or 4 rounds before I figured it out. In addition to being a shoot 'em up, you're throwing balls, okay? What else do you do? What happens when somebody throws a ball to you? What do you do with it?
Catch it.
You have to catch them too. So when you are playing and you are shooting, like you're shooting so much stuff all over the screen, it bounces around and then comes back to you. And the faster that you catch them, the faster you can continue to shoot.
Yeah.
Does
So
that make sense?
It's literally it's Arkanoid, but the paddle that you are is dynamically moving, and it will like magnetize to you, but you do want to accelerate how fast it comes back to you, because that is how you fire again. Likewise, if all of your balls wind up like going ballistic behind, you won't be shooting anything. So you'll just be sitting
screwed.
there. Yeah, you're just like, oh well, that certainly sucks.
Oh, yeah, I didn't pick that up.
Meanwhile,
when
there's
I
a boss creeping towards you, and you're like, I can't even hit the guy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a shmup Arkanoid mashup.
Okay.
I mean, like also, and then all the power-ups that you get and all the other stuff. So that's the, all the type of stuff where Vampire Survivors really leaned into, it's okay if you're overpowered. Maybe it's awesome that this run that you have is just ludicrous. And you kind of like lean into that. So you want to, some of the things are like weird, but I would read it first, and it's like, this will produce 1.5 times the amount of mini balls that you can get, and some of your aiming will be erratic. And I'm like, well, I don't want my aiming to be erratic. And then I would pick that up, and it's like, well, it's not that erratic. And then it was like, that was like a way better modifier for me. I was like, yes, give me that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So it's been fun, and you get different character classes that do different things. And then the building side of stuff is like things that you're collecting resources that can eventually power up your guys. So I love all of it, because it's like this additive effect, which is, I think we talked about last, for Hades for me, which I wasn't aware of, was like to build up your character for your run so that you are, I don't care that I'm overpowering myself, because it's almost like how RPGs are anyway. When you're leveling up, you are overpowering yourself for like newer stuff. I don't know. I really do enjoy it, and it's a really good mashup overall.
Another thing that I really like about it is when you hit the fusion level or the fusion power up.
Right.
So like on Tech Dweeb's screen right now, for the people who are, well, now we can't see it, but that's okay. I'll never forgive you, Tech Dweeb. But like when you have like 4 slots for weapons and 4 slots for like trinkets or something, right? You pick up fusion things, and then it will combine 2 of your weapons into 1, which now leaves you another open slot. So then when you level up, you can get more weapons.
Yeah.
And it just is this feedback loop of, oh man, I can't wait until I can match up my scatter thing with vampire.
Right.
And then now, or with lasers with earthquake, that kind of thing. It's just really, really fun.
There was one weird one that I got that it was just a shotgun. It was like, this is your shotgun thing now. And it worked in such a way that every time one ball bounces off a wall, it splits into 7 or 9 or 11. But as soon as it hits an enemy, it ends. So I was just like leaning hard into like sideways shooting so that it would just create this huge volley. And I was like, yes, this is correct. This is how I should be playing the game right now. Yeah.
I came to this from Megabonk, and I was like, oh wait, it's the same game. Like these survivors likes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be just as addicted to this as I am Megabonk, because there's just something about that loop of you're playing and you get 3 power-ups to choose from, and you pick the one you like, and then you keep playing and you get more and more powerful, and you create a build as you play. This one I was actually turned off at first because the Steam store, all the screenshots just showed the single column, and I was like, oh, is that like a mobile port, because looks like they just lazily ported. But no, it's not like that. It's the battlefield starts narrow and it grows as you play. It expands. And it's made by Devolver Digital. I love almost everything they make, so I should have known I would like it. But yeah, as soon as I started playing, I was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be my life now.
How far did you get into it so far, Tech Dweeb?
Oh, not that far. I was playing it like all day yesterday, so I don't know, a couple hours.
Have you finished bosses yet?
One of them, I think it was a boss. It was really big. Anyway, the first hour I was playing, I didn't realize that it was a 2-stick thing. I was literally just shooting straight up, and I was like, "This is so freaking hard." I didn't realize I could angle my shots. They didn't communicate that to me, or I wasn't paying attention.
How are you playing it on your Thor right now? You're doing like Game Hub?
Yeah, it works fine in Game Hub on the Thor. I think I also installed it on the iNeo DS, and it didn't work there, but I haven't tinkered with it. There's a set. A set kind of flow chart of like, oh, the game doesn't work, try this. Okay, that doesn't work, turn it back and try this. So the compatibility on the G3X Gen 2 isn't quite as good as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, I found.
Yeah,
but
I installed it on my Thor right now with Game Hub. So yeah, it was super fast, worked perfectly. So that's awesome.
Yeah. This is one of the ones that worked right away. This and Megabonk, the dangerous games to have on a pocket-friendly device, because it eats enough of your time as it is. But being able to play it anywhere and everywhere, oh man,
that's amazing. All right, my cart's now up to 105. So thanks, guys.
Yes.
I will say, one thing I want to add is that so I started it on Game Pass because you can just kind of try it for free, and I played like 3 or 4 rounds. I moved over to my actual Xbox console, played on my TV for a while, and I was like, this is great. And so then I bought it for Steam, because I want to have it everywhere, and the save games and all my achievements and stuff did not carry over, so I had to just start over again, which is kind of a bummer. So Bill, don't get too far into it if you plan on playing on your Steam Deck or something.
You're not wrong. I'm like on the 3rd level at this point, and I've beaten 2 bosses. So maybe I should just buy the game and stop.
I'm gonna buy it. I'm done now.
It's got lots of mechanics in it that I don't really understand, like the fusion and fission thing. Every time that screen comes up, I'm like, all right, combine these random things, and a random thing happens. I don't know what that was, so I gotta learn. I gotta learn all the little ins and outs. Otherwise, I'm probably just wasting time. There's
an Evolve one too that'll come up, and that one's interesting. I don't really understand that one just yet, but yeah, the Fusion's pretty easy. But it's the Evolve one that I got to learn a little bit more about.
I get decision paralysis when the game offers me too many things, and I'm like, I want them all. Everything sounds good. I don't know what's good, so I'll just sit there hemming and hawing.
Yeah, one other tip is if you do end up buying it on Steam, you've got to look down below because they have all those bundles, and they've got a bunch of bundles with this game. One of them is Vampire Survivors. So if you already own Vampire Survivors, you can get the game for $13.50 instead of $15. So they give you a little bit of discount if you got one of those bundles.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I got it off Humble because I'm a Humble monthly subscriber,
so you get the 20%
Humble
off.
Choice, and you get 20% off if you have an active subscription.
Nice.
I bought lots of games over the last couple of days with that.
Very good.
Not every game is on there, but when there's something you want, it's worth checking.
Right.
Tech Dweeb, you've also been playing a game called Wizardom.
Oh, Wizardom.
Wizardom. I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce it. Wizordum is what I say. Yeah, it's like this kind of like old school first person shooter kind of game. It replicates those old school shooters from like the DOS era, but it's like it's new and it's fresh and unique and cool. But it's that throwback style, you know, like Wolf 3D and Doom and Hexen and Heretic, kind of like it's almost like purposefully stuck like in an earlier generation. Like Duke Nukem 3D is more advanced than this game looks. Like this one's more like the corridor style. It really reminds me of a couple DOS games that I was obsessed with. I didn't have a very powerful computer back then, so I would always play like the easy to run dollar store shareware games. And there was two of them. There's one called the Catacomb Abyss, and there's another one called Ken's Labyrinth. And Ken's Labyrinth was made by the designer Ken Silverman. That's the guy who made the build engine for Duke Nukem 3D and Shadow Warrior and Blood. So this game really reminds me of those games more than like Doom or Hexen or whatever. And so it instantly had that nostalgic draw for me. So it's just a fantasy first person, combat focused, exploration focused, environmental puzzle solving kind of stuff. Lots of secrets. As I've been going through, I've been really taking my time. At one point, there's this one secret. There's like a portrait in the wall, and you're like, oh, I bet there's a secret behind that. So you go up and you smash it, and sure enough, the wall moves, and you go inside, and behind there is a portrait, like a painted portrait of the guy from Wolfenstein, BJ Blazkowicz. Like
Nice.
he's tucked away as a little Easter egg in there.
That's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me
amazing.
of. Oh, go ahead.
Amazing art style. Just as you can see, like just take a look. It's so nice looking.
Yeah, I was going to say it reminds me visually a lot of Wrecker, which is REKKR. That's a Doom mod that's like kind of Norse themed, Celtic themed, and
really?
yeah, very similar to that. And so yeah, it looks really nice.
I forgot about
crazy.
Wrecker. That one's on like the Doom one into like like they have like mods that you can
Right, the
download.
remake one.
And Wrecker is on there. So yeah, that's a good call out. But yeah, this game, I love the art style in this game. I think I own it, but I haven't had a chance to play much of it. But the secrets, that definitely feels even more Duke Nukem coded than Doom, like you were saying, Dweeb, where like Doom certainly has plenty of secrets, but I think Duke Nukem just kind of took it to a whole other level.
Every level of Duke Nukem has so many secrets. I used to open up the levels of Duke 3D in the engine, the build engine editor, just to like go and
nice.
find all the little secrets and stuff. Oh, actually, speaking of which, this game has an editor. You can make your own levels in this, and it's super easy to use.
Nice.
If you watch the trailer on Steam, I think they show it off being used. It's crazy easy. It's like just building a house in The Sims or whatever, but then you go in and you can first-person shooter in there. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at the little like GIF in the store page, and the editor is like an isometric editor, right? So you're just editing in isometric.
So easy. And you can do multiple levels. There is verticality in it, but it's all done in just like you got your level. It's all done in like stories. You're on the first story and there's a second story or whatever. I spent so much time in the build engine, making levels for my friends in Duke 3D and playing those. I remade my whole school in the level of Duke, in the level editor in Duke 3D. That's
awesome.
what I used to spend my time doing.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Have you guys seen Project Warlock?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of earlier that I couldn't think of the name, so I was just searching through for it to find it. Basically, the same kind of like it's the Hexen inspired kind of game, but it's really really fun. I especially like you have like the different weapons you have feel really really different too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like is when they feel different and like I have a different reason to use, one weapon over the other. So yeah. but Wizordom I definitely need to play some more of.
Yeah, that one was called. I made a video called "Retro Style Shooters" where I show off a bunch of them, and many people in the comments were like, "Oh, you got to try Wizordom," and I didn't want to because that was one of the full priced ones that was like $25. But so many people said that I have to try it that I did, and they weren't wrong. It's one of the best.
And I don't know if you guys mentioned this because I left the room for a second, but there's a demo available for Wizordom, so you guys can try it right now.
Oh, it's dangerous. You're going to want to buy it right away as soon as you fire it up.
That's the purpose of a demo.
Yeah, Rich's cart just keeps climbing.
That's it. By the end of this episode, I'm going to be at $1,000 in my cart.
Easy.
All right, right now,
GoFundMe link down below.
Right now, I want everybody to leave guesses as to how much his cart's going to be by the end of the episode. All right, so Russ, you've been playing Prey 2006.
Yeah, so the original Prey, if you guys remember that one, it was one of the launch games for the Xbox 360.
That's the one where you're like a Native American, right?
Yeah, and it's basically it feels like Doom 3 basically in some ways. But anyway, it all kind of started with the ROG Ally X, like the new Xbox One, where I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about Xbox and whatnot, and I was like, let me look through my binder of games, my 360 and Xbox One games and stuff. I don't really have a lot of those old game cases. I was dumb, 10 years ago, and I got rid of most of them, but I've got all the games, the discs and stuff. I was looking through and I was like, man, Prey was a great game. And so I put it in and I just played it for about a half hour, and it still holds up. I mean, that thing is almost 20 years old. It came out in 2006, and it's still a great little first-person shooter game. The other thing is that it kind of put me on, I mentioned this in our chat already, but I went on this spiral of buying Xbox 360 and Xbox One games because they're so cheap right now. And so I was getting just a bunch of games for $1, $2 each on GameStop. And then they've got buy two, get one free. And so, yeah, I ended up buying 25 games or something like that for under $100. And it was just kind of, these are games that some I already own digitally and whatnot, but I don't know. I just felt like the way that Xbox has been going and just my kind of lack of faith in that, I can still put these discs into my Xbox and play these games. And so that little bit of assurance, I was like, you know what? It's worth getting a bunch of these games, even though I've played through them, even though, it's like, I don't need Madden 2021, but it's $1. I might as well get it. You know what I mean? And just see what it's like. And so I just grabbed a bunch of games, and I'm just going to have to get a bigger binder, basically. But Prey's kind of started all of this stuff going. And I was just like, yeah, it is kind of nice to future-proof with some of these older disc games to be able to play them.
It's like Russ did that meme with the cat that has the newspaper that's down. It's like, I should buy more Xbox games.
Exactly. Prey was great. That was the first non-Valve game that I bought on Steam. Actually, I think it might be the first game I bought on Steam because I think if I'm not correctly mistaken, Half-Life 2 came with Steam on the disc. So to play Half-Life 2, you needed to install Steam from the disc. And at the time, I was like, what is this crap? I just wanted to install the game. And then they got me. I bought Prey 2, and then it was all downhill from there.
I remember that distinctly when Half-Life 2 was bundled, you needed Steam. That was the DRM for it. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'll get it for Xbox. That'll teach them.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
It came with TF2, didn't it?
That was Orange Box, I think.
No, that was Orange Box. Yeah, for Half-Life 2 on the original Xbox.
That generation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then I didn't get into Steam until I lost faith in Xbox around 2010, and just consoles in general. I was like, I'm just gonna be a PC main. But really, what kicked off everything was the Steam Christmas sale, when it was like, buy every Square Enix, Enix library for $50, and I was just like, all right. And then it was all THQ Mega Pack and all this other one, and I was just like, I spent $200 and I have 400 games. And I was like, this is dangerous. And that was the time that I started moving over to PC pretty much exclusively.
It just shows that when Steam first came out, everyone hated it. Everyone hated it. Everyone thought it was garbage, and they were mad that you had to install it. But now it's awesome. So just think about something that right now, and I'm not going to ask for specifics, but think about something right now that everybody hates. Maybe in the future it'll be awesome. Maybe. You think it can happen again? PlayStation Portal. What do you think, Carrie? Is there hope for it?
No, there's no hope for that thing.
That one's only going to get worse with time. But I still like it. That's why I called it out.
Yeah.
I think for like launchers, it'd be like Epic, but Epic still has a long way to go before they fix up their launcher.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't see them doing anything with it because they make so much money from Fortnite that they don't have to.
Yeah, they're just Steam just has so much that they've done that there's so many components that I think many people it's so transparent to what they're doing that they don't realize that it's making all of their like just general stuff better. And it is single-handedly the push that everyone has. There's been a number of individuals I've seen on my feed where people have just gone over to Linux like lock, stock, and barrel. So they're just, you know what, I don't want to deal with Windows anymore, so I'm just gonna be on Linux, and that they just started dealing with it, and I've noticed it.
That's a topic I definitely want to talk about later on in the episode. Go ahead, Dweeb.
I would have already switched if it weren't for like my workflow apps with like the Adobe suite. My muscle memory was all built in Adobe, and I can't. It would be like weeks of relearning apps and stuff to be able to make the jump. But if Adobe apps ever could be run in Linux in an easy way, man, I'd be happy to make the jump.
Yeah, I made the jump from just for talking about muscle memory, I made the jump from Final Cut Pro over to DaVinci Resolve. And it's not because I think DaVinci Resolve is necessarily better. I think they both can do like really cool things, but I did have to relearn so much stuff. So I totally get what you're saying, Dweeb.
Yeah, and I'm deep in there with Photoshop and especially Adobe Illustrator. Oh man. Yeah, I've tried the alternatives and I like them. They seem good. They seem like the kind of thing, like if I was starting again, I would learn on free and open source options that worked on Linux. But yeah, it's tough. Tough to take such a hit to your workflow when time is already so much of a valuable thing.
So I actually worked, my previous place that I was with was Buck Design, and they were just nothing but artists in there. And it's not even just a singular focus of just saying, you know what, I'm going to learn this. But if you're going to be working in anything, if you're going to be freelance and contract and to do anything, you're going to be using everything that everyone else is using. So it's really not just a singular choice that you can make. And like Blender was like a terrible UX, but Blender has come a long way in a lot of ways. But people are still using Maya, and I don't see any of that stuff happening, like changing really. Until there is enough people that have just given up. But, Adobe is just like, they're the worst. They're like, oh, you know what? There is no more monthly, and it's just annual. Oh, and if you also want to cancel, you're going to pay all of it up front right now. And you can't cancel. And it's just, they just keep on making these weird things, and people just keep using it because they're
stuck.
Yeah.
But it lets you make really cool stuff. Point. Because Tech Dweeb made our logo for the NerdNest. He made the NerdNest logo.
Yeah, maybe I would have been able to do that if I didn't have Adobe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adobe. That's something you'll never hear me say again. All right.
Really, the only reason I made your logo was because I didn't like having the default badge for my membership. Everyone, by the way, should subscribe to the membership of the NerdNest podcast because you get a little badge, and it was default badge before. So I reached out to Bill to offer to make him new badges, and it just kind of turned into more. But yeah, that's all good. It wasn't much.
And
I appreciate it. And
didn't you also make mine, Tech Dweeb?
I did, yes.
Yeah,
I think I think I did a round of just like who doesn't have badges yet. That's something I could do quick.
Who's doing a bad job out there? Let me fix this for them.
My own badges were the last on the list to get made.
All right, so Russ, we hassled you a bunch this week about playing Megabonk. Mm-hmm. You started playing it. I don't want to spend too much time on it because we've talked about it the last 2 weeks, but I'd love to hear what you think about it because Rich and I wouldn't shut up.
Yeah. I don't really like it.
All right, on to the next thing.
I want to hear. I want to hear why.
Yeah,
So
me
it's
too.
nice to have the 3D camera, but it just provides too much room to me. Like it's too much freedom. Like I like the simplicity of Vampire Survivors. It really just feels like a 3D Vampire Survivors to me. Maybe I didn't get too deep into it, but
No, that's it.
It got to the point where, because I kind of burnt myself out on that first game, and I was just like, I'm not ready. Basically, I'm not ready to do this all over again. Whereas Ball Pit feels like a new dynamic. Like I'm ready for this one. And so as soon as I tried the Game Pass version of Ball Pit, I was like, all right, I'm done, and just not even doing Megabonk at this point, just playing that. So that's kind of my take on it. I think it'd be great for people jumping in, but for me, I don't know, a little burnt out in the whole genre at that point.
I'm in agreement with you, Russ, big time, especially when I got the chest and it was just like straight out of Vampire Survivors, like, like the same type of animation. And I was just like,
Some noise.
oh, okay. That's why on the chat, I was like, oh, this is just the yoink and twist. Because it feels a lot like Vampire Survivors, and that's not terrible. But I tend to agree with you, Russ, that because I played so much Vampire Survivors that when I'm pretty much all like everything that you've done, I've done. I played a bit of Megabonk and I played Ball Pit, and I'm like, actually, I'm going to play Ball Pit. And that's where I am as well. It's not a bad game. Megabonk is awesome, but it's I just feel like I've played too much of it.
I will say, playing all of those, my favorite, I think, is Ball Pit at this point.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, but
I really like the idea that I also have to catch the weapons as they come back in order to refire. That makes it that changes things for me.
You know what I think really makes, like, as you had mentioned, as it's been mentioned, that it is a shmup and there are shmup elements to it. It builds up gradually to like the bullet hell type of stuff, especially when you get to a boss where you get more bullet helly. In Vampire Survivors, it is kind of like that, where they call it bullet heaven, right? Is what one of the genres for it. And in that, you actually, all of your attacks can actually push back the bullets. And in Ball Pit, the attacks that are coming to you, you can attack some of them, but not all of them. So there's a different dynamic where you actually have to avoid, like it is a shmup. And also, that is a zero-sum game, like Bill had said, where you want to catch the balls to fire faster. So you're competing against avoiding and also trying to get the ball to refire again. So it's a really fun thing once you start like zoning in. And because games are only 10 to 15 minutes, it becomes this like, it's a 10 to 15 minute game, I'll just play. And it's like 2 hours pass and you're like, oh goodness, this thing again.
All right. I posted over on my YouTube channel. Which, by the way, speaking of YouTube things, you should click on that subscribe button. And when you do, it might show up all of the other guys' subscribe, like their channels will just be linked into the subscribe button usually. And if you click on those, then you can subscribe to them. So click on that. And I posted over on my YouTube channel this post about true or false. And I said, all right, send us in some examples of items that are true or false, basic little questions. For example, Tech Dweeb sent in true or false. Tech Dweeb should be the new co-host of NerdNest. So there you have that. And we had a bunch of them sent in, which is awesome. I did this without, usually I should have probably done it a couple of days ago, but we still had tons of comments come in. So earlier we were talking about Linux versus Windows, and Nico, I'm just going to say Nico. They said, true or false, in 5 years, Linux will have won over Windows for PC gaming. I'm gonna say false, because there's just too much stickiness with Windows at this point. But I don't think that that's a forever answer. What do you guys think about that, Carrie?
Thank you for, as I have. So I think it's false as well. I do think Windows is sticky, but I think that there is a very real snowball effect. And actually, one of the videos that I'm working on next is basically just going to call out Microsoft, because they're at the precipice of adding all of this AI stuff that people have real reservations about using. But that's a side thing. The bigger thing that I want to mention here is that gaming, and I've mentioned this before, gaming often gets disrespected in a lot of different ways, even though it is at the forefront of pushing technology further. And gaming is what is easier for people to adopt for. Like, they will move to platforms for gaming purposes. And if you keep on messing around with not being a performance first type of company, that this will slowly start to transfer. And we've already seen that because of the Steam Deck and other stuff, that's already at like 2%. Once that momentum builds up to about 10%, which maybe does happen in 5 years, at that point, maybe companies start saying, hey, all of this stuff, there's 10% user base here. We should also start doing apps. Maybe Adobe starts taking a look at it and they're like, hey, there's 10% of users here. We need to start bringing that stuff over. And there's that critical mass type of thing that could happen, where if Microsoft keeps on messing around, if they keep on effing around, they're going to find out that they're in the same situation where they lost the mobile space and their apps just are on iPhone and Android. And they could find themselves in a weird situation where, all the stuff that they're doing, they're just making apps that are on Linux. And there is a real thing there, I think. If they just keep on not caring about performance, if they lose this, it's going to be their thing to lose.
What do you think about that, Rich?
Yeah, so I love this question. I actually love a lot of these questions. And what I will point out is that a lot of these questions are like, will this radical thing happen in, X years or sometime in the future, right? And for a lot of these, I'm going to be like Joe Everyman and be like, I think not. Like I'm going to stick to the way things have been. And so, yeah, I will say false for this, but I think it's a fascinating subject, right? Because like, first of all, in terms of like assumptions, I'm assuming when he asks or says Linux will have one over Windows PC gaming, like we're talking about like user base, right? So we can just look at Steam. And so Steam right now is at 2%, growing quickly, right? From 1%, under 1% to then 1%, like shortly after Steam Deck, and now 2%, just a couple years after Steam Deck. So it's growing super fast. And we should point out that although it's growing super fast, so is PC gaming, right? In that time, PC gaming went from like, I want to say 25 million monthly concurrent users on Steam to like 35 million. So like PC gaming has grown tremendously. And even in that time, Linux has taken market share. And so when I think about Linux potentially having just the potential to take over Windows, I think of it in terms of new customers, right? So like the more we attract, the more like Steam, Microsoft, whoever is attracting people that used to play on consoles to come over to PC, those are going to be the folks that like don't want to deal with like the stuff that Windows has been for, years now, and just want to have a more console-like experience. And I think that those are the people that you can win over and more easily transition to Linux before Windows.
So I will add, so I read this somewhere and it doesn't have a ton of context here, but when it comes to like a revolution, so say like a political revolution or just a huge fad or whatever, it usually takes 8 to 10% of the population to buy in, basically. So that's the requirement. And so that's where it hits a tipping point where it starts to become into the zeitgeist, basically, where common people hear about it. It's usually at the 8 to 10% mark. And so I'm not saying it correlates specifically to gaming and Windows versus Linux, but that's kind of the human kind of environment that we're living in. And so 2% sounds great, but it's a long ways from that other threshold.
Let me ask you a question, Russ. Do you think that it can happen without Linux being readily available in stores? Like when people go into Best Buy and pick up a machine and Linux is pre-installed. Do you think that has to happen in order for that to occur?
I do. I think it is going to be hardware driven. It's going to be somebody buys a box. They don't even realize that it's like a Windows machine versus a Linux thing. They hear about this box, and it could be the Steam box. It could be some other thing, right? I think probably needs to be in stores really to hit that as well. But I think it's going to be hardware driven, where people are going to be like, I need that thing, and then it just kind of sneaks in, and they're getting Linux as their gaming machine. I think that's kind of the thing that's probably going to happen. Much like, the Switch is running Android more or less. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that it's going to be a Trojan horse, if anything.
What do you think, Tech Dweeb? Do you think 5 to 10 years everybody will be on Linux, or is it going to be back to Windows?
Yeah, but 5 years is pretty short. 10 years maybe. Hard to say. Like, I don't want either situation. I want both to be viable.
Yes.
So that the people who want a game on Windows can, the Steam Deck with Valve and Proton and everything they did is what the reason that we're even having this conversation in the first place. So I can see a world where, I don't know, Valve releases a console and that becomes a big thing, and like a ton of people start jumping ship. But the beauty of the deck is that it runs Windows games. These games weren't developed for Linux, and they run on your Linux handheld, and you can play them on there, or you can play them on your Windows device. So. Yeah, that's the world I want. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. The direction it's going is that Linux is just getting bigger and bigger all the time, and better and better. There's still some pretty substantial stumbling blocks, like you say, with the hardware. You're not going into Best Buy and buying Linux computers or handhelds for the most part, other than the Steam Deck. But the fact that you can just you run the same stuff on both. That's the world I want to come out on top. And I also want to be able to run those on my ARM devices too, like on my everything. I want everything on everything, and that's the dreamer in me, I guess.
Well, you don't have a crystal ball, but you do have a D20 there. Could you roll a D20 and we could find out how many years it's going to be?
Well, we don't know the modifier, but okay. That's a 13.
All right, 13 years.
About right.
It's above 10, but it's an unlucky number. So you never know when a 13 comes up, you never really know what's going to happen. So I think it's even more mysterious than it was before we rolled it, to be honest.
All right, Russ, can you pick a topic from the list of things that people sent in?
Yeah, so Baldly Rudy, friend of the show, wrote, true or false, the next Xbox will be over $1,000. And yeah, I think it's true. The way that, just what we've been seeing, and the way that Sarah Bond over this past week have said, like, oh, this is, these Xbox allies are giving us an indication of what to expect with the next generation, right? I think that just kind of leads into, yes, it's probably going to be a PC that happens to run their Xbox full screen experience out of the box. And so I can see that in order to compete in the just overall performance category and really kind of going toe to toe with that. Yeah, I can see it being $999.
$999. Rich, Are you paying $999 for the next Xbox if it's a PC?
Oh, man, if it's a nice PC that I can plug into my TV, good hardware, and the hardware is equivalent to what I can get for around that price, I would consider it. Yes. One of the things that's going to potentially sway me over is just eventually they're going to figure out this backwards compatibility on quote unquote PC or whatever it is that Xbox will become. And so I would love to play my 360 catalog. I would love to do what Russ is doing and pick up, cheap Xbox One games and have those available. I'd especially love to play some of the XBLA games that I haven't, and they are on XBLA. And then there's Rare Replay and, Nuts and Bolts, right? There are just so many games that are right now just the only place to play them are on consoles effectively. And one day they're going to figure that out. And at that point, it's going to be really tempting for me.
All right, Carrie, I have two versions of this question for you. Number one, is it just going to be a PC? Number two, will it be upgradable? Will you be able to upgrade the parts later?
Right. So say that. I had the answer in my head for the first one. Say the first question again.
Just the first question is whatever the one that Russ picked out of the list, which was
It'll be
What
over
was it?
$1,000.
Yeah, will it be over $1,000
Oh, no,
for the next Xbox?
I think it will be $1,000. Like I feel very but I think that the prices will rise across the board for everything. So I'm like Steam
Yeah.
Deck 2 is 600, PlayStation 6 handheld 600, PlayStation 6 console 800. I think that this is probably at best $1,000. To your question, Bill, which is the second part of it, whereas if it's upgradable, is that what this ultimately comes down to is when we look at this from a few different angles, is that if we take a look at the Xbox Ally and what Magnus has been leaked about so far, just complete speculation, is that the next Xbox is actually going to be manufactured by third parties, not just Microsoft itself. Microsoft will have the default.
That's what I think.
Yeah, and what you're going to find is that it's not upgradable in the sense that you're going to be upgrading any of the parts, but how they sell it, you will find an Acer Xbox that may be $600 because the GPU component is actually smaller. And that GPU component that gets slapped onto the SoC of the main brains of the Xbox SoC silicon, which can run Xbox OS and all of the other stuff with a hypervisor and be able to run all the other stuff. Like the stuff that we've always been talking about. Xbox Magnus suggests that there is this eventual cohesion. There's this bridge that's going to happen where Microsoft themselves will kind of start detaching from making hardware exclusively themselves, and it will be for the manufacturers, their partners, to make and make custom versions of it and also make a bigger and better one. Maybe there's going to be a $1,500 console that uses the Xbox brains. So that will be how you differentiate in the market with whatever one you want. And will this happen? I'm not certain, but it in this world, we do have a place where the Xbox handheld, like the Xbox Ally that exists in the Xbox Ally X, could morph into the actual idea that we had talked about before, where it does run Xbox games through the hypervisor because it's containerized. So it remains to be seen how this shakes out. But this, from the rumors, which we can only speculate about, suggests this end goal.
Yeah. I also think it's going to be $1,000 because, or at least $1,000 because of what Sarah Bond recently said, that she said it's going to be a premium device. It's going to be curated, all of those things. Whether or not I would love to see it be upgradable, but it's so like that cuts into their profits. I think when they could sell you a whole new device with a slightly upgraded GPU, like, cause sure, they could just sell you the GPU, but they could repackage it with a new, different shape to the box and be like, this is the new one. And because that's what console gamers are used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have always talked to me about, they're like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if the Switch 2 had like an eGPU or anything, right? Like it's just like the eGPU is this docking solution to boost GPU performance. And the numbers part of it really doesn't make any sense insofar as the cost. The cost is like, I mean, you look at the ROG Xbox Allies Thunderbolt 5 5080 and 5090, that thing is super expensive. It's more expensive than the handheld itself. And that's the reality of like, I want to have more GPU performance. It's like, well, pony up the dough because it's going to be crazy expensive. And we generally don't, and that's really not like an upgrade path that people really want to take because it is such a niche use case. So yeah, I just think that at the very least, even if we step away from the rumors of Xbox Magnus and what its capabilities potentially are insofar as Lego-like GPU blocks, if Microsoft was going to be the only one that makes this, and that's the only way that you can get Xbox OS, so even like the hypothetical of Windows being able to do this, and only this next Xbox that's going to happen, at the very least, anticipate $1,000 at a minimum. At a minimum, like it could be more.
Oh,
depending. Good.
What if they did it like this, where you buy the Xbox from Microsoft, right? And it has a spot where they can snap in the GPU that is sold by other manufacturers that then Microsoft can license that to them, kind of like they did with the expandable storage on the Xbox Series. You know what I'm talking about?
So you're gonna
Yeah,
you're gonna
the
directly
Seagate
connect.
stuff.
Yeah, so you directly connect to the hardware itself rather than like through a wire or a Thunderbolt. So
Right. You just snap, you buy your GPU from Asus or Lenovo
Right.
or Alienware,
So
but you bought the Xbox from Microsoft and you just snap it in.
that would be cheaper because then you wouldn't have to deal with all of the overhead of the eGPU solution itself, because then that thing would be powered by the box itself. So there's a bunch of things that the costs go down, but it's still going to be, it wouldn't be crazy expensive, but I mean, it would still be expensive because take a look at the storage solutions for Xbox Series. It's just crazy. They're crazy
stupidly
expensive. Yeah. So
you look at the PlayStation,
Yeah,
you just go buy an M.2 drive. It was simple.
Yeah, it's the most outrageous thing, right? Like if you went back 20 years and you were like, hey, PlayStation, they're not going to have proprietary media anymore, and they were like, yeah, right, like that's going to happen. And you got any new things for us, Nostradamus? Like,
Tech Dweeb, do you think it's going to be $1,000 for one of these puppies?
I could easily see that. Things aren't getting cheaper. Especially like the like you said, one of your show note topics was the comments from Sarah Bond, how she's saying it's going to be a very high end experience and premium and all this stuff. And as I was reading that, I was like, that's just a high end price, premium price. Like it's all just price. So. Yeah, I easily see that. Frankly, I'm fine with it if the performance is there, if it justifies it, if it plays these amazing games with ray tracing at 4K and a little upscaling and whatever. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, how okay I am with it depends on how much of a computer it is. How much I can run just my PC games on it versus are we still sucked into the Xbox ecosystem and buying our games there and Game Pass and buying physical games or whatever it is. That'll determine how okay I am with it, which really just means how much I make fun of it. So either way, I'm not going to be getting one, but I hope it's $1,000 because that means it's not going to be $1,500 or $2,000. I can't really see it being less than $1,000. Let's be real, because it's not coming out anytime soon, and just the way things are going.
Yep.
Yeah, the PS5 Pro is $750, and the Xbox Series, if you get the 2 terabyte edition with the fancy outside, is $800.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
And if it was a PC, if it had good bang for the buck performance,
right?
Like heck yeah, $1,000 PC that regular people can buy and just easily play Xbox games or PC games on it, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. We're doing that with handhelds now, so whatever.
Yep.
All right, Tech Dweeb, do you want to pick a topic from all the questions that were sent in?
All right. Well, the one that immediately caught my attention is one that will not take long to answer. Hang on, where is it? No, not that one. There we go. All retro gaming YouTubers should have beards.
It's not the one I thought you were going for.
I'm gonna say that we do already, and that's a problem. Come on, if you're a beardless person, then make a retro gaming YouTube channel because we need some fewer beards out there.
Yeah.
By the way, you can't see on camera, but I do have a beard, and it is like 1,000 times better than anybody on the show's beard. Just so you know.
I buy that. Yeah, I read that and I was like, does my beard count as a beard? Is that what this person means? When I feel like it does. I feel like that's not what they mean. My beard is not what people mean when they say
you're on the fringe of retro. You're not technically retro gaming,
That's true.
so you don't technically have a beard.
No, that's
either,
a good point.
so,
yeah.
So if he started making more retro videos, do you think he would just start growing it automatically?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it comes with it. Yeah, I was going to say, when I go on the Retro Handhelds podcast and it's like 4 of us and we all look the same, it's like, it's rough. I'm like, man, how was it? Like, I don't remember getting this memo, but here we are,
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, something about this hobby that draws out the middle-aged dudes with beards.
I think that you've stumbled onto something incredibly true right there. Although I will say, it was a couple of years ago. It was actually before I started this podcast, but I had another podcast where weekly we would record on Sundays, and we did it live, and I had gotten fed up with my beard, and I shaved it off, and all the comments were like, "Who is this clown, and why it like the bald-faced Bill can't hurt me? Please
Does
tell
that
me
video still exist?
I'm sure it does. It's out there.
I need to find it. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
well, and then like when I had gotten ready to do that, I shaved everything except for the mustache just as a joke, and I lived with the mustache for a day, and then I had to shave it off before I recorded because I didn't want that out there.
Yeah, once it's out there,
Smart
it's there
man.
forever. So can I pick another one? Because mine was
You could pick a real one, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go with this one, and I don't necessarily have a good answer. So I'd love to hear what the other guys say, so I can steal their answer. But the question is: Nintendo releases a Switch 2 Lite in 2 years, and I find that an intriguing idea. And I could see it going either way, and I don't see anything stopping them, right? Like if you actually watch a Switch teardown, the actual component, the Switch part where the brains are, it's easy to cram that into a Lite version that doesn't have detachable controllers or whatever. The Switch 2's biggest improvement, in my opinion, is the screen, the big high refresh rate screen. So, but I know lots of people like sort of pocket friendly, more travel friendly things. So I don't know if it would even be a good idea, but yeah, curious to see what you guys think on that.
I think that, I mean, it's in Nintendo's MO. That's what they usually do. They release a device, and then after a couple of years, they release a new version of that device that is different in some way. So I absolutely see them releasing a Switch 2 Lite. But what I wonder, in addition to that, is if they did, would the Switch 2 Lite be bigger than the Switch Lite? Or would it be the same size as the original Switch Lite? And Tech Dweeb's right. They could easily get that size down. You look at like the iPhone Air. That thing is impossibly small. And I'm sure the battery life is terrible, but Nintendo could easily do that. Carrie, what do you think?
Especially if they lock it down at a lower resolution like they did on the Switch Lite.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the answer. So when you go to the Switch Lite and SWOLED, both of those models went to the Marico version of it, which is the 16 nanometer FinFET SoC versus the 20 nanometer Planner X1. Xavier,
which was more efficient.
Yeah, it's considerably more efficient because they can downclock it way more, and it had a smaller battery, but then wound up having more battery life than the original Switch. So it may be a little bit too early. 2 years might be a bit fast for them to graduate to the next process node for the upgrade. To the credit of it is that the Switch Lite, if it had the same characteristics, meaning you cannot dock it, and they don't want to do docked because then it's going to the 15-watt power profile, and then the heatsink fan solution is going to need to tackle that extra heat. All of those things would still probably apply to the Switch 2 Lite. It does beg the question of like, how big of a device would it really be? Would it go to that 5.5 inch? Would it be the same dimensions as the Switch 2 Lite? If it is, then the battery life is going to be brutal using the same chipset that it has right now, even though it would technically be possible to achieve it in a Switch 2 Lite. So
they could squeeze more battery into it by making the Joy-Cons not detachable. That way you have more room for battery in there, and that's what they did with the first one.
The Switch Lite doesn't have detachable
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I mean, but the end result is that I think that it's like 20% smaller battery in the Switch Lite versus the Switch itself. So the question really becomes like, how small would the Switch Lite 2 be? Would it be the same dimensions as a Switch Lite? I don't know. The ultimate answer here is 2 years is probably too fast for the next node. So I'm going to say false on the only thing on 2 years. But otherwise, it's the Nintendo playbook to do the variations. So they have the Switch Lite and they have the Switch OLED. And it's for sure that we're going to see that.
So I think I'm going to be wrong on every question I answer today. So just to make that clear, but I think true. I think Carrie raises amazing points. I just think looking at Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo Switch, those were all about 2 years. Nintendo Switch was the only one that was 2 years and 6 months, I think. Everything else was under 2 years. So it seems like a safe bet, not necessarily a Switch Lite or Switch 2 Lite, but that they will have a major hardware revision within 2 years is what I would say.
So I'm of the same mind. I think that I could see it in the next 2 years. And I also, maybe I'm just being wishful here, but I think that it can go up to 6 inches and still keep a pretty similar size. We had really big bezels on the Switch Lite, and I think that they could potentially move around that, and it's okay if it gets a little bit bigger, you know what I mean? Like, it was still a nice small size, but the Switch 1 to Switch 2 was a big transition in terms of size too, and people got over it. And so I can see the Switch Lite being a little bit bigger, having 6 inches. I would prefer 1080p, but I'm not really sure if it can handle that. It's really going to come down to battery at that point. But yeah, I can see all this happening in the next 2 years personally.
Could Switch 2 clamshell be a thing? Could that happen?
Yeah. That would be awesome. That would be super awesome. And then you have then you have a much larger space for the battery to occupy.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So that is also a really, ultimately that falls under the same the pretenses of we are for sure going to have another form factor of the Switch 2. And I think we can waffle about how that goes. That would be super awesome to have a clamshell Switch 2 in the same kind of pocketable sense. I think that's a fantastic idea.
But you guys mean with one screen, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep.
Switch 2 flip.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be sick. Yeah, that would be sick.
It markets itself.
All
right.
Can I pick the next one, Bill?
Second screen?
Yes, I was about to text or message you to say that you're up.
Sweet. I really want to pick it because, Dweeb's been playing with it. Half the podcast here. Admin Nimda, I think, 8632 asked, true or false, the AYN Thor will be the most beloved device of the year. And I haven't tried it, but it looks so nice. And it seems like a fan favorite, right? Like, people really want to see the AYN Thor succeed. So I really want to ask Russ and Dweeb, is it the most beloved device of the year?
Yeah, I'll let Tech Dweeb start.
All right. Oh, it has been quite a year. I never thought that after all the bangers last year, I was like, oh man, what could they possibly do? But there's been so much. I think one of the reasons that people are so into the Thor is because it's sort of like it's the promise of dual screens finally realized, like it's a viable thing, and it totally just works basically right out of the box. And it's also a flippy device. People like the dual screens and they like the flippy device. This one is kind of semi-small and portable. It's about the size of a 3DS or whatever, like a DS Lite kind of thing. So, I don't know whether or not it's device of the year. I kind of feel like a device of the year should be a more one-size-fits-all kind of form factor. Something more like a Retro Pocket 5 or a Portal or whatever. But we have more devices coming before the end of the year. We don't know what that Odin 3 is going to be like. We don't know what Retroid's cooking up and whether or not that's going to come out next year or this year. It's my favorite device in a long time. Like, this really just sunk its claws into me. But I need time with a thing before I decide that it's something I love enough to be like, oh, this is in my top 5 or whatever. Because I've had many devices that I get, and it's like, I love it right away. And then after a week or whatever, I kind of forget about it, and it just kind of goes back to the shelf. So I'm like hooked on it, I think, because of what it does different than lots of other things. But whether or not that's enough, hard to say, I guess, until we get the full picture. I could see it, but though possible.
Before Russ jumps in on this, I gotta say, like, just watching Tech Dweeb play with this thing on a game that I won't mention the name of, in the middle of his thing that he was saying, he closed it, and all I could think of, how's it going to work when he opens it back up? Is it going to go right back to where it was? And it did. That right there makes me want this thing more than any other thing that I've seen. That was so cool. I love that. Go ahead, Russ.
Yeah, so I think it really hits a sweet spot where people who are kind of, like me, a little bit hardened in the emulation handheld scene, this is still exciting. Like, it's a new kind of idea. It gives new possibilities. And so even people who are kind of jaded about this kind of stuff, like I just reviewed, 3 devices this week, I think that even then, it's an exciting prospect. And so I can see why people are drawn to this, even from like the people who are within the scene, but it also really appeals to like normies. Like, I have seen several people just tweet a picture of the Thor in any capacity, in pictures that I don't think look very good either, like just someone say, hey, look at this thing, right? Thousands of likes. And that's not coming from the handheld scene. That's coming from 3DS and DS fans, people who played this back in the day. And they're just like, look at that. It's a modern 3DS, in the same way that people get excited about seeing some Photoshop prototype of a handheld, it almost feels like that, and that kind of energy. So I think there's a lot of love there. A lot of people who are getting their handhelds right now are loving it, but they are also like super early adopters. These are people who bought it in the first minute when it was available, right? So they already had a lot of hype for it, and I think I'm seeing a lot of that on Reddit. It's really going to be interesting, 6 months from now when someone picks one up and they're like, oh man, I've got to set up my emulators. I've got, I got to find some games to play on this thing. Like, I can see that kind of souring over time. But for people like us who are familiar with this stuff, we don't mind getting into Android. It is really special. I'm still putting it in my backpack every day when I go home with some sort of fleeting thought that I will have time after I'm done editing to play a little bit. But then it's like 2 a.m. and I go to bed. And so, but that says a lot. That's the one that I'm carrying around right now. And, yeah, it's a really neat little handheld. It's not perfect, but I do think that it's probably going to be up there. We're all in the enamored phase right now, but I think there is like true love there as well.
Am I looking at this right? It's only $500 for the most expensive one.
Yeah,
like $450, I think.
Yeah. It's 250 for the base level one, which can play most 3DS and a ton of Switch and stuff. It's the same specs as the RP5, and that does a ton.
Yep.
That's crazy. I can't believe how cheap that is. I assumed it was going to be like, Carrie, what's the ones that you like a lot? Price wise.
AYN?
Yeah, no. The ones that when we were at PAX, you pulled this, that's
the GPD-1 Mini.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be GPD prices.
Oh.
This is cheap.
It's an Android doodad, a totally different thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so while tech is getting more and more expensive, I don't know. It feels like the retro handheld world just keeps getting better and cheaper, and it's kind of a weird time in the retro handheld world.
Android is really bridge. Go ahead.
Oh, just so many super cheap things that you would never expect are as cheap as they are right now, considering all the price increases that are happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to say that we're really bridging the gap with Android devices. Like the fact that during this stream, I logged into GameHub Lite and I installed a Steam game and then got it running while talking to you guys. You know what I mean? That's a Steam
that
PC
was really
game
impressive,
running on the Thor, and I just did nothing other than just search for the game and then just load it up. And so that says a lot too about the future of this stuff.
That's what I've been obsessed with on this thing lately is, that's like my latest micro obsession just in general with these things is getting PC games running on them. It's crazy how easy it's gotten in such a short time. And this is just the start. Like I'd say maybe a little bit over half the games just immediately run completely problem-free with your cloud saves and everything like that. Just no problem at all. And then the other half, maybe like 20% of them, you can get running if you tinker. And then the remaining 45% or whatever it is, they won't run at all. But that just keeps getting better and better too. So I can easily see a world where it's sort of like very often we in the retro handhelds world talk about like, oh, we need a device that can play like a low spec PC that's sort of like a Steam machine for a Steam Deck for just indie games or whatever. Maybe we don't even need that. Maybe Android devices can be that, because I freaking love playing the indie games on here. I was playing Megabonk in bed last night, and it was on this little guy. Oh, forget it. It was so comfy.
Yeah. Can we just take a moment also to recognize that he got first place in that race while talking? I could not do that.
Yeah, that's no big deal, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good evidence that we are not the same person. You know, we've got this like theory going, but we are not. And there's your example.
This whole time.
By the way, for all the people that think that they are the same person, leave your comments down below as to how I pulled this off with them. Like they're wearing different shirts, but you also can't really see Russ's arms.
I was gonna say, I don't think Russ has raised his arms once during this podcast. So.
Not once.
How did we pull this off? Well, it makes me think of another true or false. Do you think, true or false, do you guys think that Valve can release, I mean, I know we already have Steam on Android, but do you think that they can release Steam as a store on Android and instead of Proton have like, I don't know, Electron or Neutron, whatever it is, that would let you run games that are written for x86 processors on ARM processors?
So yeah, that's what
is
this
that
is.
The future, Carrie?
So, yeah, that's the Game Hub. Well, Game Hub Lite that everyone's using because
But do you think Valve does it? If Valve does it, then it's different.
I think so Valve actually is doing a lot of work with ARM, running ARM stuff, and they also have ARM native versions of games. This is all the whole Deckard part of stuff. So there is a big movement there. I think what you're going to find is the moment. Well, Valve is doing a bunch of work, but the moment that the legal structure that Google and Apple can no longer prevent other third-party apps from being on the Play Store and just running, I think that like being able to sell games, like Valve being able to sell games via the Steam app that you downloaded from the Play Store, but they keep all of the money. I think that is when Valve is just like, well, that's just another storefront for us. And I think that is it's not really a technical question because they're already laying that groundwork. It's more of a legal question.
Rich, how long do you think before that happens?
Oh, so real quick, I want to go back to the legal thing because that's one of the things where like I'm a little bit. I know that it's fun to hate Tim Sweeney. Not quite as fun as it is to hate Randy Pitchford, but like a lot of people hate. A lot of people have disdain.
We can hate them both.
there's room enough, right? A lot of people seem to have disdain for Tim Sweeney, and I get it in some respects, like you know, not putting in the effort that we think is like a requisite amount of effort into Epic Games Launcher, but I think that the lawsuit that, you know, Epic has been championing against Apple and against Google, like, I don't know, I think that's good, right? Like, I would like to see that officially broken. And kind of speaking to Carrie's point, I think it would be huge if once Valve does launch kind of officially, I think it is Proton ARM, right? Like that's the name of it, of the translation layer they're working on. Once they have that, like, Deckard launch, they have, you know, other potentially other ARM devices. I would like to see a Steam storefront on ARM devices 100%.
Right. Like, yeah. Good.
Yeah. So do I think that'll happen in 5 years? I'm going to lean yes. I think so. I think we're close enough. Like they've been doing enough work. Like I don't think it's going to be just as like it's going to be super good immediately, but I think it's going to be good enough that people will want to buy ARM devices loaded with Steam so that they can play their Steam library and have an official way to do what, you know, Dweeb and Russ are doing pretty easily.
Yeah.
So one thing that I want to quickly add here that is, I think, a dark horse in the race that exists in this space, but Epic has been in the spotlight is 100% Microsoft wants this same outcome as well, because they're pushing
Yes.
this third party go everywhere thing. And right now they can't really do xCloud on iPhone. They have to do it through Safari browser, and they can't sell you Xbox games through iPhone or iOS, because then they're going to be taking 30%, which doesn't work for them. So in the background, even Microsoft is like, get them, Epic, and you have no idea what strings Microsoft is doing in the background either. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening there, and Valve, who I don't really think is doing anything, is just going to just like and just like
There's waiting.
yeah. Oh, you know that Steam app that you have on your phone? Well, guess what? You can just start playing your Steam games on there. Yeah. And I do feel like that, like having the Steam app just be like, oh, there you go. You just install your games through the Steam app. That itself is going to be this kind of mega game changer. It also goes to another true and false thing, but we'll wait to finish up this topic.
Well, one of the things that Valve has kind of a scrappy nature with this kind of thing, because back when, what was it, like a Windows 8 with the UWP thing, and Valve said that this is going to be like bad for PC gaming, and that kind of was like the push they needed to get on making their own operating system and to make it so you could play your PC games on Linux and stuff, because before that, like the first generation Steam machines were just pretty limited in what you could actually play. So I could easily see them like, storefront or no, it's not much to install a launcher, and as long as you're allowed to do that, I think most people would probably be fine with just downloading the Steam APK and installing it the way we're doing with GameHub now. If that was like a real thing that Valve did, there's a lot of work to do. Obviously, it's pretty early days for x86 emulation. Lots of jankiness, and I'm sure like, people downloading GameHub and dealing with that jankiness, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, but this is just made by a couple of random people. But if Valve released something that was officially, Steam on Android, they have to support that, and there's a lot of hurdles to overcome right now. And I don't doubt that they could, and they will. But we're not quite ready to just go all in with that. A couple years, yeah, maybe. I hope so. It's probably one of my biggest wishes in this hobby is being able to run all my PC games on Android. That would just be amazing if all these retro doodads could just play my entire Steam library effortlessly. Forget that's like literally the stuff of dreams.
Absolutely.
What game are you playing there?
This is called Bot Vice. It's kind of Bot Vice. One of my favorite games of all time, not just my favorite indies, but yeah.
Yeah, I was
it's always super cheap. On the Steam sales, it's usually like $1 or $2 or something like that. It's like a throwback arcade style, what do you call it? Like a cover shooter kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, Mans has good taste. I remember Bot Vice, and I think that studio, I'm looking them up, DYA Games. They've made some other really good games. Strikey Sisters is kind of similar.
That on here too. Yeah.
And then what was the other one that I really like? Evil Tonight. So it's like a 2D Resident Evil kind of game. So I like that game.
Good one to play this month because it's Halloween.
That's true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to grab a topic from the list I had. At Rue 3005 sent in a question. They said, true or false, the next Steam Deck will be cheaper than the ROG Ally Xbox or ROG Xbox Ally X. Russ, what do you think? You think that when the Steam Deck 2 comes out, is it going to be below $1,000?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be... I mean, they're going to have those tiers again. I think it's going to go up, but I do not see it go to four figures at all. Like I would say there's going to be a $600-ish introductory level. Like, and that's assuming it's going to be a generational leap in performance, right? And so, that's what I'm expecting. And again, we've thrown this around so many times over the years that, Valve's subsidizing it or, all these kinds of ideas, right? And all they've ever said is that it was very painful price point, that $400 one, right? but they have the ability to make it painful, right? Because they can
Right.
make that money off the software that Asus and Lenovo are not going to, unless there's some other deal we don't know about. So
And even Microsoft, they can't either because nobody will buy it from their store.
right, exactly. And so, I do see it being more expensive, but still, I think they've got a lot of levers that they can pull that other people don't. And so, I can see this being a lot less than basically any other handheld PC like it is right now.
Yeah.
What about the most expensive version? Do you think the most expensive version would be 4 figures, or do you think it would still be sub 1,000?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, if there's a big reason and incentive to get that higher end one, and it's not just internal storage that we can change ourselves, and it's not a special glass
That's a good
screen,
point.
then I could see that maybe being a thing. But if it's just the same chip, I'm probably going to do the same old thing where I'm just going to get the one that matches like my level in terms of what the screen looks like, and then I will put my own storage in there.
Rich, what do you think?
I think the answer depends on when the Steam Deck 2 comes out, right? So like if somehow we just see prices continue to go crazy higher over the next few years, then maybe being as expensive as the ROG Xbox Ally X won't be so bad. And I point that out because I like D. Lopez's question, true or false, Valve won't be releasing the Steam Deck 2. And that's something that's been in the back of my head is like, Valve can sometimes be fickle, right? And really what that is they care about the condition that they release something in. And if the condition isn't right, then they just don't release it, right? And so I could see them having the intentions to release a Steam Deck 2 as they have stated, and kind of getting all the way up to the point where they start, really looking at R&D, preparing the next handheld and being like, the conditions aren't right. Maybe we won't do it. And so if I could see a world in where it just takes too many years and it's going to be over $900.
That's fair. All right. We only got 10 minutes left. So Carrie, do you think there'll be another Steam Deck? And if so, will it be below 1,000?
There will be another Steam Deck. I'm very confident of it. And yes, I'm also confident that the base model will be under $1,000.
What about the top model?
The top model is an open question that I am not prepared to answer.
What do you think, Tech Dweeb?
Oh, I'm the worst person to ask for this kind of thing. I don't know. I could see it going both ways. I hope not. I'm a hopeful guy. Valve has always been kind of the good guy in my book when it comes to their pricing. Like they're the only thing right now that's like they're giving us more for the same price, and they keep on decreasing the price and having these crazy sales and stuff. So I hope they continue that trend and just kind of always put the gamers first, because it really does feel that way. They're one of the few companies that I actually feel are doing that. I know they're just making money, but it geared a little bit more towards the side of the gamer, I think, with them. So, yeah, I hope so. And I really do hope that it's true that it's kind of a lost leader, and they have made more money than they've lost from it being a lost leader, and that has been a successful experiment, and they want to do it again, because that's why just get a Steam Deck is a thing, because of the price. And it wouldn't be if it was a more expensive thing. So they have to nail that, or else we're just not going to. They're gonna lose all this the goodwill that they've built up, and I don't think they will. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, Kennethus asked, true or false, just get a Steam Deck. Lightning round this one, because I know that we got to go fast. Carrie, just get a Steam Deck?
False.
Okay. Russ?
True.
Rich?
True.
Tech Dweeb?
It depends.
Well, there you have it. Clear as mud, everybody. All right.
Bill?
Hey, thanks. What? Oh, yeah, I didn't answer, did I? I'm gonna.
It depends.
I'm gonna say it depends as well. And I would refer you back to last week's episode where people asked, what is our current daily driver? And that's my reason. So go back and check that out. But we are running out of time, so I want to give these guys a chance to hype up what they're working on. Oh, and speaking of hype, if you're watching this on mobile, after you click the like button, there's a hype button now because YouTube wanted you to push more buttons. Just see what happens. I'm curious. Russ, what have you been working on, man?
Man, I made so many videos. I did a Thor rainbow color video, and then I did the Mew Mini Flip today, and then yesterday, what did I do? Some other handheld. Oh, the AYN Pocket Air Mini. So I've just been kind of inundated with devices to review since getting back to Japan or from Japan. My next video is going to be about, I think I'm going to do a dual screen handheld guide. So hopefully I'll have that out this weekend.
Yeah, all those products launched for you right when you left, eh? I could tell you were scrambling to get some out, and then while you were gone, a whole bunch of stuff came around. I was like, I bet Russ is going to have to scramble when he gets back.
Yeah, it's been a lot of sleepless nights, just trying to push it out. I usually don't do back-to-back days with videos, but I did that yesterday and today just because I got so much to cover here.
Yeah, good for us. We just get more videos.
Yeah.
What have you been working on, Tech Dweeb? What's your next video?
Okay, so I just recorded the audio for a how to add a CRT monitor or TV to your computer. And I show off my Commodore 1702 monitor and how I got that set up with all the adapters and converters and HDMI switcher and how to set up your PC and how to deal with the scaling and the scaling on your retro games for your Batocera Raspberry Pi. It's a whole video of covering all the topic. So this is one that just kept getting pushed further and further back because of all the products that came out recently.
Does that mean you record the audio separate from your hand video?
It depends. It depends on the topic. If it's a complicated topic that I can't do live, then yeah. Usually I do the audio first, but sometimes I do a little live thing. It just depends on the thing.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Carrie, what are you working on, man?
So I'm going to be lacing into Microsoft pretty hard. I put Bazite on Xbox Ally, the non-X version, and there's more to talk about with like how power is, and I capture power in the benchmarks as well, just to show like what's going on. So there's more to talk about, but ultimately there's a lot of work that Microsoft needs to do because the whole point of the Xbox Ally was like, oh, the Xbox full screen experience was supposed to fix everything, and it's not there. So I just want to demonstrate that and go over all the bits. So hopefully I'm going to have that next week.
Very cool. I will say that a lot of people watched the last episode and they all said it, like a lot of people felt like we were just bashing Microsoft because we hate them. And that's not the case. We want competition. We want things to be better. And so when things aren't up to what we would like, we say what we think about them. And I think that a lot of people don't like the full screen experience. I personally think it's a huge step up over just vanilla. It's over vanilla Windows. But because we didn't do cartwheels about it, everybody thought that we hated it. And I think that that's crazy.
I think that's it, right? Like we didn't do we weren't harsh, right? We were critical, but I don't think we were in any way harsh in that video. And so like the fact that we didn't do cartwheels over the fact that like, yeah, Xbox full screen experience is a step forward. It is objectively a step forward, right?
Yes. Yep.
And
I think it's a big step forward.
Right. And I think we can acknowledge that while still being critical of the experience.
Yeah. If we just said, yeah, it's great. Good job, Microsoft. You did it. They wouldn't make it better. Why wouldn't you want it to be better? Why wouldn't you want all these little niggles to be ironed out? And think about the first version of Steam, Steam 1.0.
Right.
Like
exactly.
It's a whole different thing now. And if we were all just like, don't change it, it's perfect, then maybe they wouldn't have.
It'd still be that same ugly green.
Right. My tiny little example is that I saw a lot of videos where people like, look, you can now input your pin using your gamepad. And I was like, why can't we just get rid of the pin? I don't put in a pin when I turn on my Steam Deck, but I still have to put in a pin when I open up Windows. And so that's kind of my big thing is that like Windows fundamentally did not change. They just changed some of the UI elements to it. And so that's I think that kind of the crux of it right there is that we want to go a little bit further. Yes, it's a step in the right direction, but man, we want our children to succeed in life. And that means you got to be a hard parent sometime.
Well, I
Microsoft
also
is our
would
son,
say
is what
it
Russ just
doesn't.
said.
Right.
I don't hate the idea that it comes by default making you want to be secure. Like that doesn't really bother
Sure.
me. You know what I mean?
Steam
What
Deck
I,
doesn't
what I
have
have a
that either,
problem, what I have a problem with is when you want to turn it off, it's a 12-step process that you got to pull up an article to figure out how to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Fair enough. Rich, what are you working on next, man?
I don't know. I'm buying ball pit slots and daggers and Microvania. I think I'm just going to be playing that all week. So don't expect any videos.
That's perfect. Awesome. Well, you guys just spent about an hour 45 hanging out with us. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to hang out with us. So make sure that you check out all of these guys' channels. That's youtube.com/thefox, youtube.com/retrogamecore, youtube.com/techdweeb, and youtube.com/fan the deck.
You got it.
Couldn't remember who I had said in what order. So make sure you check out all of their stuff, and instead of typing in things, just click the subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one. Stay rad, everybody.
Thanks for
guys.
watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.